Hello folks, welcome back. It's Art of Cycling. I'm Greg Leach and it's July, so it's Tour de France. I do appreciate the new follow. I'm glad you all are enjoying these videos. I enjoy making them, and I hope you get a chance to look at the time-lapse ones too. I figure I'd put those up as well for your amusement. Let me know if you enjoy watching those as well. So this is nice. What I'm have the chance here is to finish the story of this painting, but I'll get to that in a moment. So right now we're at the intermediate sprint. It's where the sprint points are awarded in the green jersey competition. Well, obviously they are also awarded at the finish, but with some very big climbs to come today, it is unlikely any of the sprinters will still be there to vie for stage honors. So Biniam Girmay here. Who is having a much better tour than last year. His own words. And he is pleased with that, but not having the tour he had 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago when he claimed the green jersey himself. I believe Mads was there and gave him a hard run for it, but Biniam was just astounding, both in the intermediates and in getting stage victories. This year he hasn't had a stage victory. Actually, of these three sprinters, this being Jasper Philipsen over here, only Pedersen has had a victory. So, which is just an interesting. So these three are the closest in the sprint jersey competition, and only one of them has won a stage, and the stage he won was in a pure sprint stage, which is kind of the ones we expect him to win. Because he doesn't quite have the top speed the others do, as like evidence yesterday. He was 9th on the stage when Tim Maillot won the stage. Just FYI, Philipsen was 2nd, and Biniam was 4th. Sorry, I seem to have trouble painting and talking at the same time, which is tough for what I'm doing here. So what I was saying is, so Philipsen got into the early breakaway. Very surprisingly, Mads didn't make it. And it's a huge group, 34 riders. Another group of 20-some, 23, I think the math says, led by Mads, but also Biniam, who's back in here somewhere, was in that chase group as well. And they managed to chase down. What's even more interesting is that the peloton now sits at like 7 minutes, 5 seconds back. A bit ironically, the stage that Mads won was the last time the Peloton just kind of went, forget it. And the yellow jersey changed hands. Be a little more surprising if it changes hands today, but Tom Pidcock is in this group, not this group, but in the leading group, and started the day in 9th or 10th place. About 9 minutes back. So he has the potential, depending on how the stage goes, just to take the yellow jersey. And I'm not too sure Tade would be terribly upset about that. I mean, he gave it away once. And it certainly feels like he's giving it away again. And when I say giving it away, it's like, you can either... There's multiple reasons to do that. One is, and in today's no different, if you have the yellow jersey, your team is expected to do the pacemaking. And, in this case, chase down this breakaway. And they've opted not to do that. Which, hey, look. Trying to come up with the title now. See, I forgot to do it again. You guys distracted me. Here we go. Call it Why He Chased. And of course, I love this intermediate sprint competition and all of the permutation, and I've painted in virtually every stage. I've painted the intermediate sprint, which, may or may not be the best idea, but it's what I'm doing. And I'm, you may have figured out by now that I am a fan of Mads Pedersen, but I also really enjoy Biniam Gourmet, particularly because, and let's admit it, a very white sport. Oh, I just realized what I did wrong there. It is nice to see a very competitive person of color. Biniam is Eritrean, which there's actually been a few Eritreans, yeah, competing successfully in the Tour de France over the years, but still, more is more. And I certainly see in my group rides and that the makeup of the rides are changing a bit. Sorry, I'm trying not to be too... So anyway, I'm a big fan of Biniam as well. Well, let's face it. If you get right down to it, I'm a big fan of cyclists. And I stand in awe of what these guys are capable of doing. And I could never manage speeds like they do. Today, and they're in the 30 plus miles an hour for the longest stage of this tour at just over 200 kilometers, 120 miles for you, or most of us who aren't metric savvy. So just kidding, we're at the sprint. The sprint is green jersey, and the intermediate sprints are sponsored by Skoda. That's why in a lot of my finished paintings you'll see that word painted on the road surface. Now when they took over, they changed the green to this much drabber color. It used to be a brilliant green. Wish it would go back to that, but you know, just like Visma, nobody asked me about what colors these things should be. They really should. So Mads is in his green jersey. Today's efforts of chasing down this escape group. I see something I missed. He really put everything into the sprint trying to get, I think he well knew he wasn't going to get first. So he's without any teammates, which is very unusual for Lidl Trek. They've been really masterful at being in the break. It's why they lead the team classification, which is why Mads has a yellow bib number, whereas everyone else has white. That designates that Lidl Trek is leading in the team competition, which is figured by combining the times of the top 3 riders on each team, and basically whoever has the lowest number of that formula is the team leader. Now, without being in this break, and depending on how things break out, or pan out, not break out, they could lose their lead in that competition today. And they've held it since, I'm keeping notes on it, but like probably since the 3rd stage. Because the first went to, the first stage was a team time trial, so Visma won that, and therefore also won the team, were the first to be in the team lead. Then based on UAE going first and second on the 3rd stage, maybe 2nd stage, I'm sorry, I don't remember now. They took over the lead. But since then, since the breakaway that Mads won, his team has been in the lead of that classification ever since. And we shall see whether that changes today. So just about done. Time to remind you that you can find all of this work. I think we're at mid-80s for total number of paintings thus far. But you can find them all at theartofcycling.blogspot.com. Of course, I would love it if you would become a subscriber, so you can see all the videos as they pop up going through the rest of the Tour de France. And then after roughly a week's break, we'll jump right into the Tour de France Femme. the women's race has now gone to 9 stages. I mean, it's not 21, but parity is on the horizon. And of course, I would love to know what you think of the paintings, of the information you're getting about the tour, and what you all think about the tour so far. So thanks so much for watching. I do appreciate it. I see something I missed. And I'll be back again tomorrow. Thank you again. Bye now.